My name's David. I'm continuing work on the summer project, and I'm meeting with Larry McLain. He's the father of PFC Buddy McLain. We are in Rumford, Maine, on a Sunday afternoon. And Larry, thanks for taking my visit. I appreciate it. I appreciate you inviting me into your home, and I appreciate you telling me about your son.
Buddy was a proud man. Ironically, my birthday is on September 11th, and when the terrorists bombed the World's Trade Tower, it had quite an effect on me. Buddy saw that effect, and it affected him and our whole family. One day, Buddy came up to me and he asked me what I thought of him joining the military, and I asked him why. And he told me because he saw the way it affected me and our family, and he didn't want that to happen to anybody else.
Wow.
In our country, ever again. He was a very proud person, very loving father.
Yeah. He saw how it impacted you.
He did.
On your birthday.
On my birthday, he saw how it impacted me and our entire family.
Wow.
I mean, it was just to see the World's Trade Towers come down the way they did was just totally devastating.
Wow.
The loss of life needlessly, and he just couldn't take it.
Yeah.
He just felt compelled to do something about it.
It seems like that event really impacted him. It was very influential on his choice. And then there was another story you told me. He went to Afghanistan. He got to learn about his teammates and his army platoon mates, company mates. And after getting to know them, he had to make a special phone call to you.
Yes, he did.
Can you tell me about that?
Yes. It's a hard thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Still,
yeah.
I still get chills.
Yeah.
One day he called me up.
From Afghanistan?
From Afghanistan, and he asked me if I would sit down. And I, being a dad, raising 3 boys, you always expect the worst.
Yes. Yeah, right. He thought he was getting kicked out of the army, didn't you?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, bud, what'd you do? What'd you do to get thrown out of the army? I mean, this is what a dad, they.
If you're asking me to sit down, it's going to be bad.
Right. So, no, he went on to say, well, Dad, he says, after being over here for a while, he says, and hearing some of the stories from, the guys that I've been with, and, some of the stories about abuse and neglect and, sexual abuse, physical abuse, and everything else, he just sat me down and told me that he loved me and he wanted to thank me for being his dad.
Wow.
It totally took my breath away. I am a man, I'm proud, but I started to cry.
Wow.
I did. I lost it.
Yeah.
It was one of the proudest moments of my life.
Wow.
For him. That was the day I knew he had grown to be a man.
Wow. That moment was that powerful.
Moment was the moment that I knew my little boy had grown to be a man.
Didn't he say something like, Dad, you always made time for us?
Always. He, after hearing the stories, from the guys that he was with, a lot of them told him, our dad never did this, and our dad, beat us and raped us or whatever.
Yeah.
And, he's like, Dad, he said, you used to take us hunting, fishing, camping, all that good stuff, he said, and he said, he just said he wanted to thank me for being his dad.
Unbelievable.
And to this, that's something I will take to my grave.
Yes, sir.
To my very last breath. I will remember that.
Wow. It was kind of a gift. After you giving to him and raising him and teaching him those lessons, he's giving it back.
It was a gift.
Yeah, a gift.
It was a gift that could never, ever be replaced by anything.
Priceless, too. You can't buy it. It's amazing.
That's something like that is just totally...
That's powerful, sir. And on the flip side, he tend to get in trouble every once in a while too. And you have to tell me the BB gun story again. That one cracks me up.
I always brought my boys up around guns and stuff, and I always taught them gun safety. And so I went out and I bought him a BB gun. He was about 15 or 16, I believe. And I told him when I gave it to him that if he ever shot another human being with it, that I would make him smash it. Well, one day, him and a friend of his was out playing, and I don't know if he did it. I don't think he did it on purpose to shoot him in the face, but he shot him in the face.
Oh, no.
Well, the kid's mother and grandmother called the police, and the police and he showed up, and his mother and grandmother, they were all showed up. Well, I told Buddy, if he ever shot anybody, I'd make him smash it. I made him go get his gun.
Well, was the kid okay?
Oh yeah, the kid was fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
You know, it was like one of those 10-pump daisies.
Yeah.
And he'd only pumped it like 2 or 3 times, so it wasn't enough to really hurt him.
Oh,
It
gosh.
was just enough to sting him, you know.
Gosh.
But, you know, the cops were called.
Whether it's 2 pumps or 10 pumps,
10 pumps
your
or 2
rule
pumps.
stays the same.
That's it. It doesn't matter.
How
2
many
pumps? Or 10 pumps. He shot another person. And so the cops came, and, you know, we're standing there, and I told Buddy to go get his gun, and he went and got his gun. And then I told him, okay, Buddy, I handed him the keys to my car, and I told him, go get the biggest hammer out of my car. Well, I'm a carpenter. I got some pretty big hammers. So he went and got my 28-ounce S-Wing framing hammer.
Nice.
And he come back, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, you know what to do.
Kind of gave him the nod.
Well, he hit the gun like 3, maybe 4 times. Put a few good dents in it, but it wasn't enough to dismantle it. And he looked up at me, and I looked at him, and I said, well, do you think it can still fire?
Yep.
And he looked at me and said, yeah, I do, Dad. And I said, well, then you're not done yet.
Keep swinging.
He ended up smashing that gun beyond recognition. The police officer standing there just had a blank look on his face like you wouldn't believe. It was just totally comical. He looked at me and he says, you know, Mr. McLain, he says, I've been on the force for almost 20 years. And he said, and I've never, ever witnessed anything to that effect. He says, I've been called on a lot of BB gun shootings, he said. And I've seen a lot of parents take that BB gun and smash it themselves. I've seen people take the BB gun and put it in their gun closets and lock them up for months on end, he said, but I've never, ever seen a parent make him smash his own BB gun.
And it taught Buddy.
And it taught Buddy a very valuable lesson.
Yes, sir.
It did.
Wow.
He never raised the gun to another human being until he joined the service.
Right.
And he only did that in self-defense to him and his brothers.
Defense of our country.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You taught him some other lessons too, actually, that are very powerful, Larry. In addition to gun safety, talk about the lessons that you not only practiced through your example, but taught and instilled in him through respect and courtesy and seniors.
Yes. Buddy was the type of guy, I taught him from the time, all my boys, from the time they were young age, you know, to have respect for your senior citizens. If you see an old man that needs a hand with his groceries at the grocery store, you help him.
Yeah.
You don't stand there and watch him. You
Yep.
help him. And all my boys were like that.
You made that message very clear
And
to your
that's one
boys.
thing I taught all my boys.
Yeah.
And Buddy learned that lesson very well.
Wow.
He learned all my lessons.
Yeah.
I was very proud of my son.
Yeah.
He wrote in his yearbook that the only thing he wanted from me and his mother was for us to be proud of him.
No question.
I don't know if I ever told him enough,
Yeah.
but I was.
Wow. I can tell you
I
are.
was very proud of
I can
him.
tell you are.
I never graduated from high school. The only thing I ever asked of my boys was to get a high school diploma. All my boys fought, scraped, scratched, and it was like a big battle of King of the Hill for them boys. But they all did it.
Wow.
One by one, they all graduated.
Good for them.
And that was one of the proudest moments of my life.
Yep.
Right there.
Wow.
Is when my boys came home with that diploma.
I'd be proud of
Because
that.
it
too.
showed me that at least they had more in them than I had at their age. You know, at their age, I didn't care about anything. You know, I had very little respect.
Yep.
You know, and just so glad that I knew enough to teach my boys
Wow.
to be the way
Going back to, I want to go back to the quote you said about when Buddy called you from Afghanistan. He said, "Dad, you always made time for us." And then you were talking about hunting, fishing, camping. Can you talk about that stone, where it comes from?
This stone comes from Evans Notch, up in the White Mountain National Forest. There's some camping sites up there that we used to go to. I used to take all my boys up there. Buddy especially enjoyed fishing and swimming. There's a little pond up there that we used to go swimming in. I was walking around and I was kind of looking for the rock.
Because you knew that was the place.
And I looked down and I picked up 2 or 3, and they just didn't click.
Yep.
And then Terry, my girlfriend, said, "Well, hey Larry, how's that one?" And I walked over and I looked at it and picked it up and looked at it, and it just said something.
Yep.
I don't know. It doesn't look exactly like the state of Maine, but it looks a little bit.
I see it. Yeah, you could stretch your imagination.
It's up to a little bit more of a point.
There you go. There you go. But that did, it spoke to you. There was a connection.
Right.
And that's the one that you selected.
It just, when I picked it up and I held it, just the smoothness of it and everything, I knew this would be the one.
Yes, sir. That's a perfect.
This was the rock.
That's it. That's it. We're gonna treat that with some reverence and hike it up in your son's honor.
And
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
Yeah.
For you to take time to do this,
It's important.
It's so important to me and my family.
Yes, sir.
And I know, you guys are doing it in recognition of not only Buddy, but all his brothers and sisters that have gone with him. And
I think it's the least we can do.
there's just no way I can ever repay.
No. See, the thing about the stone is it has no monetary value. It's a stone.
Not monetary.
It's not.
It's the value of what I feel in my heart.
Yeah.
For whoever.
Yeah.
Whether it be you or your brother or your sister
Or other
a
Mainers.
friend
Yeah.
or a neighbor or whoever
Yep.
touches this rock. May a part of Buddy be with them.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I pray for.
It's gonna happen.